All right, there we are. Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome back. Happy Thursday. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, please like and subscribe. And tonight, for Ask the Herbalist Hour, we have a special guest. We have Dr. Yu of Yuma 360. And Dr. Yu is going to be talking to us tonight about and sharing with us some of his herbal wisdom and knowledge. He is a master herbalist, if I do say so myself, and I do, and a great asset to our community here in the DMV. He's done a lot of work in the community. He's also has wears many other hats, and one of them is he's a master drummer as well, and he does a lot of projects in the community with health and wellness. And I'm gonna let him talk a little bit about some of the exciting things that he does. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Sister Tamara, for having me on and inviting me to be on. It's a pleasure.
Thank thank you. And it's a pleasure to have you here. And we have some visitors in the chat room. Beloved Hadia says hi. Beloved, I think that's Tasha Lynn Sanders. I hope I said your name right. Greetings, all. Greetings, beloved. Thank you all for
Peace to
joining
y'all.
us. Yes, and we're going to be answering some questions tonight. Dr. You and I, King Ade will be joining us, and he's here with us in spiritual essence, but he'll be here in a few minutes. And we also have some questions from Instagram too, a
Okay.
couple of them that we would like to answer. So let's start with talking about. Let's hear a little bit about you, Dr. You. Who are you, and what are some of the things that you do?
Um. My full name is Yuma Bellamy. I go by Doctor U as a nickname, and I live here in Washington D.C. I'm originally from New York, and I got started dealing with herbal medicine relatively early. Actually pretty much fresh out of high school. I got
Mm,
the opportunity to work for an herbal shop and work under, a couple great herbalists,
mhm.
Queen Mother Hashali, Dr. Rasan Abdul Hakim, and
Ashe.
those two really like put me on to a lot in terms of herbal medicine, in
Mhm,
terms of holistic health principles and healing, different healing modalities and things of that nature. They really are the ones besides my grandmother.
mhm,
I always credit my grandmother first because she gave me my first experiences with recognizing how, food and herbs impact health.
mhm,
And then they took it further from there, to help to mold and shape me into recognizing the full potential, if you will,
mhm,
that our interactions with herbs have. So that's really what kind of got me started.
mhm,
In addition to that, here in DC, I'm also a drummer, a percussionist,
mhm,
particularly with djembe drums, African djembe drums, hand percussion, dunun drums, and other styles of African percussion.
mhm,
And I see clients for health and holistic health, herbal medicine,
mhm,
and I have a line of herbal products, herbal tea blends, and capsules and tinctures and things of that nature that I make. And
mhm.
yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I do education stuff revolving around holistic health and herbal medicine as well.
All right, that's wonderful. Thank you. I didn't realize that your knowledge of herbal medicine went back that far. I know, I've known you for many years, but I don't know if we ever talked about how you came into. I know you did tell me before about your grandmother.
Yeah, my grandmother, she gave me my first health awareness. Peace, brother Ade.
Peace
Peace,
and
peace,
love.
Yeah,
peace
my
and
first
love.
awareness.
Welcome.
Welcome, welcome.
Good.
Yeah, my
Yes.
first
King
awareness.
Ade has entered the building. So we're here with
Oh
Dr.
yeah.
Hughes today, and he was sharing with us a little bit about his background. And we got some visitors in the chat room today, beloved Hadia, beloved Tasha Lynn, and beloved
Ashe.
Demetrius. And we have some questions from Instagram tonight to answer too. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Ashe. Ashe.
Ashe, Ashe. How are you today, brother?
I am well. I am well. Um, I've been in good spirits,
Give
preparing
thanks.
for a ceremony.
Give
Um,
thanks.
just preparing to
Mm.
help someone ascend and connect with their spiritual nature.
Ashe, give
Beautiful.
thanks. Give thanks. So,
Yes,
Dr.
indeed.
You, so your grandmother, this herbal wisdom that she shared with you, was this something that was passed down generations, through generations in your
Well,
family?
two things, and I shared this story with Brother Ade before.
Mm-hmm.
But the first memory of health awareness, that I have was my grandmother saying to me, I was maybe about 4 years old at the time. And she said, eat these carrots, they're good for your eyes. They'll help you see better.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, just being an imaginative child, I ate the carrot, and my eyes was like, this is like if it had an immediate effect like that.
Hmm.
But even if it was psychosomatic, I felt like I could see better after I ate that carrot.
Absolutely.
And some years later, my grandmother used to smoke cigarettes,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to hate cigarettes, and I still dislike them. But one day, I was a teenager at this time, and I had a bee sting. A bee stung me in the middle of my chest, and I went, inside of my grandmother's house and told her about it. And she took a look at it, and she went and she got her pack of cigarettes. She took the paper off of the tobacco. She put the
Mm-hmm.
tobacco underneath the faucet, wet it,
Yep.
taped it to my chest, and the pain from the bee sting went away in probably about 30 seconds flat. You
Wow.
know, so that was my first real experience with herbal medicine without me realizing at the time that I was experiencing herbal medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few years later, when I graduated high school and I was looking for a job, um, I came across, Queen Mother Hashley and Baba Rasan Abdul Hakim, both of whom have stores or had stores in Mount Vernon and the Bronx, New York, respectively. I was introduced to them from my father, and they gave me the opportunity to work for them. And just being in the environment, it helped to broaden my knowledge and awareness of how herbs can help us for a variety of different health conditions. But beyond that, how to even incorporate them into a lifestyle, philosophies, and just seeing people that used to come through those environments and how they just, had so many testimonials of how they had been helped.
Mm-hmm.
It really inspired me and motivated me to want to continue on this path myself. So learn more about it, and just in a nutshell, that's what propelled me forward. Was seeing the great work that they did, and just wanting to help people myself in a similar kind of way. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, it's definitely a life changing thing. Um, and yeah, that's where I am now.
That's
All
it.
right. Good. Um, why do you think natural healing is so important, especially with plant-based healing?
I think it's important because one, it's a lot more accessible,
Mm-hmm.
and in many cases, it's safer to utilize
Ashe.
than the pharmaceutical drugs. We know that if we are utilizing an herb, a plant, this is something that you have the capability to grow potentially. This is something that some if you know them well enough, you can pick them in your natural environment. and you can
Mhm.
have access to these things either for free or for low cost, and they can have a benefit on your overall health and well-being, your family's health. They can be present in emergency situations and all types of stuff like that.
True.
And in talking about the safety of them, you don't have to get a prescription. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And most of the herbs that are commercially available are pretty safe, generally speaking, unless somebody has an allergy to it or something like that. You
Yes.
don't have to, worry as much about is it going to have an adverse effect, as you do with pharmaceutical drugs, and especially for things that are more
Mhm.
chronic issues.
Mhm.
Practically all pharmaceutical drugs are known to cause some type of long term damage, whether it be kidney damage, liver
Yes.
damage,
Mhm.
so on and so forth. And herbs are holistic, meaning that they address more than just the physical standpoint
Mhm.
of how what may be going on with your body. Herbs can also help you spiritually. Herbs can also help you mentally, and they can also help to influence the energy of your environment. And one thing
Indeed.
that many people may not realize about herbs is that a long practice has been to plant certain herbs in an environment to help to influence the energy that you want present in that environment.
Yes,
Mhm.
This
sir.
is some knowledge that our indigenous ancestors knew for a long time, and they would do that. And this is not something that's just been practiced here or just been practiced in Africa, where everything started, but this is something that's been practiced globally. And you can go to
Yes.
different cultures around the world. Doesn't matter if you're talking about Australia, doesn't matter if you're talking about Hawaii, if you're talking about Canada, if you're talking about Jamaica, if you're talking about
Mhm.
Brazil. Each one of these places. China, of course, is known for herbal medicine. India is known for herbal
Yes.
medicine. You know what I mean? You can go to Europe and you can go into Germany and England. They have herbal medicine history and traditions there as well. So it's
Yes.
anywhere you look on the planet, um, where herbs grow, which is practically everywhere, you're going to find some type
Absolutely.
of tradition in herbal medicine and some type of history and how it's helped their people.
Excellent. Yes. Very good.
I
All
sh-
right. Next question. You have any questions or comments, King Ade?
Absolutely. I would second that herbal medicine has literally been used since the start of time. And the reason why we know it's effective and we know it works is because our ancestors have been using it forever.
Yes.
And there was a time when that was the only thing that was the go-to for healing. If someone had a cold, they didn't go into a lab and start splicing things and start putting things together to make a pill that's supposed to magically make you better. They went and they collected and gathered the herbs in their surrounding area, and they made some type of decoction or tincture to heal people.
Mhm.
Since the start of the time, this medical science that we are dealing with is only less than 1,000 years old.
Yes.
This is literally this is literally a lab test, and we are the lab rats in this, and we are continuing to go back to them to heal us, and we are not finding healing there. We are not
Yes.
finding healing in the hospitals. We're finding lifetime prescriptions.
Mhm.
We're finding generalized diagnoses and a whole variety of different prescription medicines that
Mhm.
if you take several prescription medicines, it's known that it will decapitate your liver, literally cut off the function of your liver
Mhm.
after a short amount of time, cut your life expectancy in half. So
Yeah.
we understand this, and we have to just do what our ancestors did. We got to go back to what worked for us for generations.
Yes.
This modern science has only been around for 1,000 years. And then they'll say they'll call they will the funny part about it is the trichology in the words, they'll call plant medicine, experimental, and these different types of medicine
Yeah.
Yeah.
experimental
Yeah. They'll call it alternative medicine, but it's not
alternative.
alternative medicine because this is the ancient medicine. This is real medicine because it's
Exactly.
it's coming from the earth. The plants grew on the earth. The plants are self-sustaining. The plants
Absolutely.
have all the nutrients that they need in their roots, in their stem, in their leaves, and the plants reproduce on their own and put oxygen into the air in
I
addition
say.
to all the nutrients that plants put back into the soil, into the air, into every aspect. When you eat the fruit, uh, let's say the raspberry bush, you can consume the fruit, but little do a lot of people know that the leaves can be used as medicine.
I
Some
say.
other plants, you can use the seeds, the root, the stem, the bark, the leaves. Every part of it has some medicinal purpose, or can be used as food or a spice or whatever. And you can't get that from pharmaceutical
Yeah.
substances. So I mean, the plant
Yeah.
medicine is not alternative medicine, it's medicine.
Absolutely. It's the original medicine. And one of the biggest things for me, this is literally the biggest thing for me. I've dealt with people that have went seeking healing in these medical institutions, this
Hmm.
medical system, and they've been turned away, telling them that they have symptoms, they have things that are incurable, that they
Yes.
all we can do is, keep you on a prescription to ease the pain or ease the
Yeah,
suffering,
make you
but
comfortable, right?
we have no cure for you. They pretty much tell you straight up, we have no answer to this.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I have not seen yet something that the plants have not been able to cure. There's no such thing as incurable in the paradigm
Hmm.
of herbal medicines, in the paradigm of dealing with medicines from the earth. There's no such thing as incurable.
Yes.
They always know that there's a way of dealing with any problem. There's always a way, whether they have to find the right herb, but there's always a way of dealing with it. I've never heard a herbalist say, "We can't help you. It's incurable." I
Exactly.
haven't yet. So that's the big thing for me. The fact that they'll tell you to their face that there are things that there are problems that they don't know how to solve, and that's because they haven't dealt with everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our ancestors been dealing with things for millennia,
Hmm.
and they've literally found something for everything that you could deal with.
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. My issue with a lot of this quote unquote medicine, or whatever you want to call it, is they give people for medications, and the medications, for example, I know people that have diabetes and other degenerative illnesses, and they take medication for years, but they still have the same condition. And if this medicine is working, why haven't you been cured from this ailment? And then there's other people who have, different ailments. They're taking the medicines, and after a while, the medicines no longer work. They become resistant to them. They have to switch to something else, but you still have the same condition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, there's a few different aspects to that conversation.
Hmm.
But first of all, we have to realize that most of these issues that we deal with health wise are lifestyle related issues. Whether we're talking about high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, even infectious diseases like COVID, the big topic right now. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? But even that, there's a lot of lifestyle related concerns
Hmm.
that determine how that might impact you. It's not so much about whether or not you're going to come across it. as an infectious organism. It's about how well equipped we are to deal with it. And when they talk about the death rates and so on and so forth, when it comes down to that, you know, more than 70% of the people who are passing away have what they call at least four comorbidities, which means that they have four pre-existing health concerns that already compromise their health. So that means like they might have diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and they're overweight. That's like, or morbidly obese, as they say. That's four different health conditions. You know, if you have all of that stuff wrong with your body already, you know, then something like this comes and attacks you. It makes it where it's more difficult, it's more challenging for your body to fight it off, especially if people are not eating the right foods, they're not exercising, they're not doing things that generally support their health. They're not in the habit of doing those things. And you're dealing with something that weakens and debilitates your ability to breathe in some cases, your ability to, have energy in some cases, your ability to, metabolize in some cases, and so many other different ways that it can affect people, nervous system concerns, and so on and so forth. So we have to look at, of course, what we're doing on a regular basis to support our health, you know.
Yes.
But the other thing is that, when we talk about medications,
Mm-hmm.
uh, most medications are derived from chemicals that are contained inside of herbs anyway. But
Mm-hmm.
in nature, you have kind of like a checks and balances, So we have, let's say, vitamin C, vitamin A, magnesium, iron. All of these things are contained in an apple. You
Yes.
you're not going to see like a vitamin C by itself in nature. You're not going to see that. You're not going
Mm-hmm.
to see vitamin A by itself in nature. It doesn't exist. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Uh, Iron and things like that. These are like metals and rocks and, things of that nature. These are things that, if they exist by themselves in nature, it's not really as consumable for us. So anything that is a plant-based source has a way of taking the things that we need and putting them in a digestible form for our bodies, a form that's not going to compromise our total well-being through consuming them. But when it comes down to medications, and you take a component and you take that and isolate it, and then you concentrate it past the amount that would naturally occur in nature, how is that going to affect the body? If you concentrate this substance 100 times more than is found in nature, or 1,000 times more than is found in nature, it can be helpful in some cases, yes. But is that meant for us to do on a long-term basis?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the issue is. And when it comes down to utilizing these things, there's no cutoff point more often than not. That's what the real issue is when we talk about the liver damage, the kidney damage, the whatever else comes along with that as side effects and things of that nature. There's no cutoff point, so we don't work to get ourselves in balance, or we're not given the right information to bring ourselves to balance. So the
Mm-hmm.
same thing can happen with herbs too, but herbs, it typically will take a longer time for something like that to happen if the herb is being used the correct way, is not being abused, because ultimately herbs impact us in a more holistic way, and they're more in balance with the things that our body may be able to tolerate and use on a
Yes.
more consistent basis. So, those things is designed that way, in a sense, because it gives us a chance to correct the habits that put us in that position.
Mm-hmm.
We correct the habits that put us in that position and we utilize herbs. Herbs work in a few different types of ways, but at a couple of the base foundations of how herbs work. One is through a cleansing process, one is through a building process. So you cleanse out toxic buildup inside of the body, then you can strengthen the body, things in the body that might be weak, that might not have the nutrition that it needs, and things of that nature. And then there are, compounds inside of herbs that have an altering type of an effect on the body and the body's energy or the body's systems. So let's say, for example, uh, somebody is having a blood sugar issue.
Mm-hmm.
There are herbs that actually can help to block the way or change the way that the body processes sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So there's herbs that can clean excess sugar out the body.
Mm-hmm.
There's herbs that can alter the way that the body processes sugar. And then there are herbs that can strengthen up the organs that help to process sugar in general, such as the liver, the pancreas, the kidneys,
Yes.
and so forth. So herbs can work in all of those different types of ways.
I
So
said,
it has a more broad spectrum type of an effect, and that's another benefit that it has.
Yes. I
I
agree.
said,
Ashe. Next question is, can you share with us some experience you've had with success and helping to treat some ailments?
Mm. I've heard. Sure. Where do I start? Um, I mean, most recently, of course, like the COVID conversation. I've been helping people from probably about March 2020, up to present, on and off, and helping to deal with that, giving thanks that uh, everybody is still here.
Give thanks.
With the exception of my aunt. My aunt transitioned a couple weeks ago, but by the time, it was one of those things where we caught it too late.
Mm.
But aside from that, everybody else is still here and is doing well, and giving
Mm.
thanks for that.
I said,
Where there's a conversation about, oral drugs and things of that nature not being effective, that is untrue. I know that firsthand. Um, Herbal medicine has been used from the beginning of this time as well, and it's been used effectively. So, I can tell you that again firsthand. I've seen that. I've helped people over the years with high blood pressure. I've helped people with diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
I've helped people with cancer, tumors. I've helped people with arthritic concerns. I've helped people with HIV. I've helped people with what else is one of those the common concerns that we see? Of course, stuff like seasonal allergies,
Yes.
asthma, um, some infertility. You know, so many different conditions over the years. There's a lot of stories that I could share.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the one that comes to mind first, if I'm going to give a specific story, is there was a client of mine who was diabetic, and she came to me because she had heard about me when I had my office space in Laurels, maybe some 10, 12 years ago. And she had tried all different types of medications that the doctor prescribed. Nothing was
Mm-hmm.
working to help control her blood sugar. And so as many people tend to do, she came to me like as a last resort kind of thing. Blood sugar was up to about, I want to say somewhere around 300 or something like that.
Yes,
You
that's
know,
high.
if you know the numbers for well, if you don't know the numbers for what normal blood sugar is, it shouldn't be higher than like a 120. You know, so when the numbers is up to about 300, you're in like dangerous territory.
Yes.
So yeah, this was a constant thing that was happening while she was taking the medication. So she came to me. I gave her a plan and put her on certain herbs, a couple of my herbal blends. And she came back to me a month later. And this is an elderly woman too,
Okay.
maybe about in her 60s at the time. And she came back to me a month later and was like, "Wow, my blood sugar is normalized. It's
Mm,
about the best it's been in a long time." And she continued on with that. But yeah, so many different stories that I could share. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole on that. It'll take up all the time.
I say, absolutely.
all right. Yes. Next question. We answered quite a few of them since we've been on um the live tonight, but tell us about your herb walks that you do, which I think is so exciting, and I hear a lot of talk about it from other people, feedback. But share with us about what that is that you do.
Sure. Well, I was inspired by the two that I named again, Queen Mother Hashili, Baba Rasan Abdul Hakim. They're the
Hmm.
first ones that I seen conduct herb walks,
Hmm.
and they did that right in the city. When I moved down this way, I connected with Baba Dr. Gerald Douglas Harper, excuse me. And at that point in time, I wasn't confident enough in recognizing herbs. And he helped to, he came out. I asked him to come out and facilitate an herb walk alongside me. And then he did that, because I really wanted to learn more myself. And as he did that, I learned a lot from him. It encouraged me to kind of keep learning, keep studying until I developed a comfort level of knowledge base for myself uh, that I felt like very strong in. So I've been doing that since about 2010 or 11
Hmm.
um, in DC and the surrounding DMV area. Baltimore, I've done some in New York. I've done some in Atlanta. No, not Atlanta, excuse me. South Carolina.
Okay.
South Carolina, so I've traveled and done herb walks, pretty much different places in the East Coast. And I'm familiar with the herbs in this section of the country.
Hmm.
Other sections of the country, their herbal environments might be a bit different. So I might not be
Yes.
familiar with as many things,
Hmm.
that might say be California or even a Minnesota or somewhere like that. The
Hmm.
environment is different. But
Yes.
I do that as a way to educate and to inspire people, especially people who are melanated people who are in our lower income communities or places that don't have the same education and access to education, so to speak, when it comes
Hmm.
down to holistic health or health in general, herbal medicine. Um, I do it because I feel that it's going to help to open their mind and broaden their horizons in
Hmm.
For
terms of
sure.
what's possible, what their resources are that are around them and being more connected, with the earth, with the planet, with their health, being more in tune with that, and understanding that there are things. There should never be a feeling of helplessness because we have so many resources at our fingertips. And it's just about being able to recognize them and being able to utilize them, understanding how to utilize them. So that's one way that we can get connected to all of that in one culture, our cultural connection, uh,
Yes.
our health connection, our connection to resources, and
Mm-hmm.
all of that, all kind of wrapped into one. So I
Mm-hmm.
really love doing it, and I especially love doing it in the city, um, on the street. Some people we talk about nature walks or herbal walks or plant walks, whatever terminology is used, and they like to go into the woods or they like to go into a park or something like that, and that's cool, you know. But I prefer to do it right on the street because on the street, that's where we're going to be more often than not. We're going to be on the street more than we're going to be in the woods 9 out of 10. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
it's like a DC or Maryland or Virginia or wherever we are. Most of us are not, these are the environments that I frequent and the people
Mm-hmm.
that I interact with most frequently are in urban areas.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times those things are going to be overlooked the quickest because we're not trained to recognize it or look at it as that. I've walked down several streets in DC, Maryland, Atlanta, etc. And I've seen people growing vegetables right in front of their stores, sometimes in like people front yards and all kind of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
People walk by it every day, and I guarantee you, if there was like a what do you call that, a food shortage or something like that, where it was an emergency thing, I guarantee you 9 out of 10 people will walk by that and starve.
Mm.
They just don't recognize, oh, this is kale, oh, this
Right.
is sunflower,
Mm-hmm.
oh but we'll go to the grocery stores and we'll buy the same vegetables.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we go there and we buy stuff. It's so funny. I see sometimes, and I can only speak to it because I've done it myself. So this is not a holier than thou kind of a statement. It's things that I've done myself, I've lived myself, I've experienced myself, and I've had to evolve my mindset in order to, continue to do what I do and do it effectively. Because, you know, I'll walk by a dandelion growing in the street, excuse me, not in the street, but like in my backyard, let's say. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? There'll be a bunch of dandelion there. I just don't want to go back there and pick it, or I don't trust it, or blah blah blah. And I'll go to a grocery store and buy dandelion greens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's really when you think about it, it's like, what sense does it make if you're the same thing is growing right there naturally? As long as your environment is not toxic, like your environment is toxic, where there's a lot of that
Pesticides and things.
check out
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that your environment is not toxic. But
Mm-hmm.
aside from that, most of the things that grow around us, we can be utilizing. There's so many
Yep.
greens and wild edible foods and fruits and stuff like that people will walk by every day, and
Mm-hmm.
things that can help you in your health concerns, in your health journey.
That's it.
Things for blood pressure, things for cysts, things for so on and so forth. And it could be
Yeah.
right outside your front door, and you'll walk
Yep.
right by it, and you go to your doctor for him or her to prescribe you some kind of high price drug that you have to pick up from a CVS or a Walgreens or one of them kind of places.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I heard pretty much I learned in your class, I believe you are the one that introduced me to the thought process that most of the things, most of the elements that you go through energetically, the perfect plan to heal most of the ailments that you're going through is somewhere around you inside your yard or your surrounding neighborhood. Like, I don't know why you maybe you can explain a little bit more on that energetically, but literally the earth provides what you need to be healthy and be whole
Mm-hmm.
around you.
Yes.
Yeah, well, plants are living creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Just they're alive just the same way that we're alive. And
Ashe.
there are plants and people in the animal kingdom and all of that. There's a harmony, a balance, and even a communication,
Oh
between
yes.
all. The no matter what species or things like that you're talking about. So, we can relate to a lot of times the animal kingdom in that regard more with people with pet dogs and pet cats and things like that because they move around and stuff like that and they kind of exhibit communication minus the talking in the same way that we do, right?
Yeah.
Well, plants exhibit communication as well. Plants are sensitive to energy as well. They
Ashe.
just don't communicate the same ways we do. But if we pay attention, if we're in tune, plants communicate with us and we communicate with plants. And just like people, there's certain people you rock with, you go and like, oh, this is my best friend, this is my homie right here. And then
Yeah.
there's ones you just don't rock with. I don't really like being around this person.
Yeah.
Plants the same. Some plants you can draw to you because the energy is there's a symbiotic relationship. Like I need this plant right now. So the plant you can energetically draw plants to you that you need, you know,
Ashe.
and the plant will also tend to be sometimes where it can thrive and benefit as well. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So you might be benefiting the plant and the plant might benefit you at the same time. You know,
Ashe.
Sure.
so if you look at everything being energy and everything being vibration,
Oh
you know,
yes, definitely.
end of the day, we're all energy and vibration. So the plants can vibrate on certain frequencies, we can vibrate on certain frequencies, and that energy, if it's a match, then that can be helpful and again, symbiotic.
Mm-hmm.
Ashe.
Ashe,
Ashe.
Ashe. I like how you showed the interconnectedness between the human kingdom and the plant and the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
But also, what I like about your class with the herbal walk is showing people what's in our own local environment. Because once I
Exactly.
started to recognize certain herbs, I was like, wow, they're everywhere. Because I used to, only think about certain ones at the herb store, or you have to go somewhere and buy them and pot it and grow them yourself. But then when I
Mhm.
recognize echinacea, the purple cornflower, you see it everywhere in the spring. You see it growing in people's yards. Sometimes you see it on the side of the road, on the shoulder, and I'm like, wow, that's echinacea. And then um one of my favorite herbs to take is hibiscus. And
Mhm.
I was walking through one of the parks in Maryland, and it was growing everywhere in the spring. You know, my grandmother had the plant, but I had no idea that this is the same hibiscus in, the tea that we were drinking. And just to recognize these plants and that are in our own environment. Like you said, you walk past them every day and you may think it's a weed or something that has no useful purpose, but it's not. It's something that can be used for medicine. Like when I moved to DC area, walking around the DC, especially in Northwest, you see ginkgo trees everywhere.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I've seen fig trees in DC. Sometimes you
Mhm.
happen to walk by them in the springtime and you'll see like some the fruit dangling or whatever. So we have lots of healing plants right in our own environment. But we haven't been taught, most of us, we haven't been taught to recognize them and to identify them.
Yeah, here in I'm gonna say Maryland. I see them in DC as well, but the Maryland state flower is called the black-eyed Susan.
Yes. Mhm.
And the black-eyed Susan is like a cousin to echinacea. So the black-eyed Susan is growing like in so many different places, like you know, throughout the area.
Mhm.
Again, it's a thing where the knowledge is not present more often than not. So, you know, people are going to get the echinacea. The echinacea price is skyrocketed because echinacea, for anybody not familiar with echinacea, echinacea is one of the top herbs that's used for immune system support,
Yes.
getting
Ashe.
over things like cold and flu. You
Mm-hmm.
know, even in this time with COVID, echinacea has kind of been a go-to herb as well. You know,
Yes.
people often mix echinacea with another herb called golden seal, you
Mm-hmm.
know, which is another immune system stimulant and a cleanser for the body. You know, so these are like considered some of the most popular herbs for immune system health in the United States.
Yes.
Here you have a wild herb that is not as commercial but has the same exact qualities as the echinacea.
Mm.
You can get it for free if you understand what it is, how to use it. But
Mm.
Ashe.
if we walk right by it, we won't understand how to use it or what it is because we're not taught these things. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so that's where the herb walks, the educational programs and things like that are important because you know this is stuff where not only we can utilize these things to our advantage, but also we can benefit the earth in general because with all of like the herbal supplement rise has
Mm-hmm.
created uh, an effect on the earth where we're over harvesting things and certain things are starting to become almost, you know, on the verge of extinction, even plant wise, because the demand is so high and the rate that is replenished or people are replenishing it is so low.
Mm-hmm.
You know, certain things only grow in certain types of conditions. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So uh if you're not somebody who understands that and you just like, oh, I just heard about echinacea, I just heard about blah blah blah, and that's your go-to, but everybody hears about it at the same time, or everybody's going to get it at the same time. It makes it where the supply is going to be depleted, the price is going to skyrocket, and we've seen that happen with sea moss,
And
you know,
elderberry.
happen with echinacea. We've seen that happen with golden seal. Golden seal, the price right now is crazy. You
Mm-hmm.
know, most places that I go to, echinacea is being excuse me, not echinacea, golden seal is being sold about 14, 15, sometimes $20 an ounce.
Mm.
You
Wow.
know, whereas most herbs are going for maybe about, you know, $3, $4, $5 an ounce. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so rare, you know, or the supply of it is so, you know, depleted, where it's like, okay, we got to charge this amount because that's going to one increase their profits, whoever's doing the harvesting, you
Mm-hmm.
know, two is going to help to slow down the rate at which people are buying, you know. So that's a thing where like if you understand that there are other options, and that's the beautiful thing about herbal medicine too, is that if you don't have one thing, there are plenty of other options that you can utilize to help
Mm-hmm.
you in any situation, you know. And
True.
Ashe.
throughout this time frame, you know, since 2020, there's been several things where the supply is diminished because of the concerns. A lot of the respiratory support herbs and the immune support herbs,
Mm-hmm.
elderberry went through that for a moment in time, and uh,
Yes.
mullein and lungwort and eucalyptus, you know, and all of these things. At one point in time, it was very difficult to find it anywhere and to
Mm-hmm.
access it anywhere if you didn't already have it or have a supply of it. You
Yeah.
know, now, you know, when things slowed down, it gave a chance to, you know, for a lot of the stocks and stuff like that to replenish itself. But even still, you know, certain things you have a hard time finding because it just is what it is when it comes down to the demand aspect of it. So if you know that, okay, if I don't have echinacea and I don't have golden seal, you know, but I walk by black eyed Susans every day. I can utilize that. I can pick it myself. I can use the whole plant. I know it's not going to poison me. You know, I can use another herb, even if it's not a herb that you necessarily know how to recognize, but you can say, okay, well, I know the herb barberry is related to golden seal in some of its effects. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe I can use that in a similar fashion when it comes down to fighting infections and things of that nature. You know what I mean? So understanding that you always have options within the plant world, and that's one of the best things I love about herbs and herbal medicine.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Ashe.
Ashe. Well, let's open up the chat room now and address some of the questions. So we had a question this morning from Instagram um, at X Hadia X. She asked the question, what are some healthy and easy ways to get clearer skin? What are some healthy and easy ways to get clearer skin?
Sea
Uh,
moss mask.
Sea moss mask, okay. And then Doctor, you have a suggestion?
yeah, I mean, water is like one of the number one things. Making sure you're drinking enough water. In terms of herbs, a lot of times we look at herbs that work with cleansing the blood, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Some things like chickweed, burdock root, sarsaparilla root. These are things that come to the top of my head that are very good for cleansing acid and impurities from the blood. And when people end up with skin issues, what that is, it's a result of toxic buildup in the blood, a lot of acid in the blood. Sometimes even things like dirt and oil being, trapped underneath the skin and things like that. So from an internal standpoint, those herbs help to kind of cleanse the body and you know, give it where those toxins don't have to try to push out through the skin, because the skin is not really designed to be an elimination organ, so to speak, in that kind of way, but it can service that when the other aspects are not doing what they're supposed to do. When your liver, your kidneys, your bowel movements are not consistent, things of that nature. Another thing that people sometimes use too, in terms of like pulling impurities out of the skin. Chickweed can kind of be used in that regard as well. But some people, when it comes down to external stuff like myrrh,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're dealing with oily skin and things that are a result of oily skin, like acne and stuff like that, like myrrh makes a good herb for that. If you're dealing with dry type conditions and stuff like that, chickweed makes a good herb for that.
Oh, good. My suggestion for healthy, clear skin is make sure you drink lots of water to keep your blood alkaline, and also to flush out impurities in the body, keep the colon clean and your digestive system clean. And like Doctor, you said, take the herbs that are blood purifying, because oftentimes when we have skin eruptions, that is the result of too many toxins in the blood, or the
Yeah.
organs not being fully cleansed and detoxed. So drink a lot of water, detox, take things to cleanse the blood, and also eat more green foods. Eat more green, fresh foods, more spinach, more avocado, um, other green leafy vegetables and green vegetables, because I think those things help purify the blood as well, and keep they bring more oxygen, not and chlorophyll in your system, and introducing that into your bloodstream. I think that also helps you to stay alkaline and to purify the blood, and thus having healthy skin.
Ashe.
Okay.
Indeed.
All right, next question. Beloved Hadia said, what are some herbs to use to help your immune system to prevent colds? I know, Doctor, you spoke on some of those that are good for boosting the immune system, but if you all want to share some more.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of them. You know, the ones I mentioned already. Just to reiterate,
Mm-hmm.
echinacea, golden seal, um, elderberries, black seed. You know, black seed I didn't mention prior to. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
other three I mentioned prior to, but these are all good herbs. There's so many. There's essential oils. You know, we can talk
Mm-hmm.
about pine. You know, a black spruce. That's one I want to mention today.
Black
Black
spruce.
spruce
Okay.
essential oil. You know, which is in the pine family. One of the
Mm-hmm.
top notch immune system boosting essential oils. The black spruce.
Okay.
Black
Yeah,
spruce. Okay.
but
They
yeah,
say
so many.
olive leaf too.
Say that
Olive
again.
leaf extract. Yeah, I've used that for
Olive leaf,
boosting
yeah,
the
olive
immune
leaf,
system.
yeah, definitely another good
Hmm.
immune boosting one.
Yeah. I use black seed daily to help with the immune system, and then I'll alternate. 1 month I'll use olive leaf. Another month I'll use astragalus. I'll usually buy like them in capsule form and just take them. Um, Black seed I take in capsule form. Some other herbs I take, as a tea, but echinacea golden seal formula, I'll take that every once in a while. The sea moss gel is great for boosting the immune system. It helps rid the body of
I
mucus as
say.
well, and it has lots of minerals. And another immune boosting herb, we said olive leaf, right?
Hmm.
Um, it's a Chinese herb, and right now it has escaped me, but we'll
Hmm.
come back to it. And
And
of
one
course,
of
One
huh?
thing I want to just say is that all of these herbs we're mentioning, these are
Mm-hmm.
not, you don't need to get everything. I think that
Mm-hmm.
needs to be said because sometimes
Yes.
the information, when there's a lot given at a time, it can be overwhelming. And then there's some people
Yes.
who think they need all of this stuff. No, you just need to find something that's going to be right for you, or something that's going to be
Mm-hmm.
sustainable for you, that's going to
Yes.
work well with your body. The other thing that I wanted to say is that these herbs are not necessarily all things that you want to take all the time. You
Mm-hmm.
know, these things are like Sister Tamara had mentioned earlier. She takes certain things occasionally and then, gives it a break for a little while. And that's ideal because you want your body to be able to work on its own merit, and you also don't want to get your body too used to certain herbs.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes certain herbs, like if you take it too long of an extended period of time, it can work against you as well.
Yes.
Those kind of things are important to understand. So, maybe if you're looking for like immune system boosting stuff,
Mm-hmm.
maybe do it 2 weeks, give it a little bit of a break. Something
Mm-hmm.
like that if you don't have anything wrong with you. If you have something wrong with you, you take it, some of those herbs until the issue goes away. And then
Right.
you take other herbs that can help to strengthen your body up more.
Yes.
I say.
Okay. And some others that are good for boosting the immune system too. The elderberry, that's really powerful, especially um during this time of year with the cold season, as they call it, cold and flu season. And um the other herb that I couldn't remember the name of it, camu. I've tried that a few times. It's a very powerful fruit that comes from
Mhm.
the Amazon um rainforest, and it's high in vitamin C. Um so
The top notch vitamin C herb.
really,
Yeah.
okay. I've tried it a
Best
few
source of
times.
natural vitamin C in the world.
Say that again, please.
The best natural source of vitamin C in the world. The Kamu Kamu.
Is it? Okay. All right.
I say.
Ashay.
And I would say, outside of herbs, two easy ways to boost immune system: breathing,
Mm-hmm.
abdominal breathing, just taking deep breaths from your diaphragm. That's one of the best ways to boost vitamin C. And getting outside and getting some sunlight.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
And
Absolutely.
grounding, putting your feet inside the soil.
Mm-hmm.
Great immune system booster, and going around trees, actually breathing air Just going near trees and just breathing air, just taking deep breaths around trees. All
Mhm.
of these things are natural, easy way that you could do every day that will boost your immune system.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Ashe. All right, next question. Beloved Tasha Lynn has asked, what are some herbs recommendation for anemia? That's a very good question. Very good question. Who would like to answer that first?
I would say outside of herbs, I would say anemia is usually an iron shortage in the body.
Hmm.
So I would say finding plant-based iron sources like your burdocks, and maybe even taking, depending on how severe the anemia is, actually finding some iron fluoride that comes from a healthy plant-based source.
Hmm.
Yeah. In addition to that, um, vitamin C herbs are also useful too because vitamin C is needed to absorb
Yeah,
iron.
to absorb it.
Hmm.
So sometimes when people are deficient in iron and vitamin C, vitamin C is the only vitamin that the body does not make. So it's important, and a lot of times we don't get proper vitamin C through most of our diets, especially if we
Hmm.
here in the states, because we don't eat a lot of raw foods. And vitamin C is one of those vitamins that when you cook it, it goes away. So
Mm.
if we're not eating salads, raw fruits, and things like that every day, vitamin C content is not going to be where it should be. And the body uses vitamin C a lot, so we definitely need that. And also cleansing herbs, intestinal cleansing herbs, things that help almost like laxative herbs and stuff like that can kind of help with that too to a certain degree because that's also sometimes an intestinal issue
Hmm.
where anemia is caused by the body not being able to digest stuff or process the iron the way it should.
Hmm.
Not sure.
Hmm. I would recommend also the sea moss because I was diagnosed as anemic once upon a time and I didn't know about sea moss back then. And I know since I've been taking it, it has given me a lot more energy. Um, it's helping with other issues that were so called related to anemia. So I would highly recommend that because it's trace mineral rich. And I know
Mhm.
iron is one of the minerals in it. So
Definitely.
including that in your diet and also the other recommendations from the other herbalists would should help with that anemia.
Not sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. I have a product I usually make and recommend for that too, which I call Earth Elements powder,
Hmm.
which actually it has sea moss in it, but it also contains other herbs like moringa, like the
Oh
dandelion
yes.
root, really good blood builders and kind of gives you a more
Hmm.
complete spectrum of nutrients that are needed to strengthen the blood.
Not
Hmm.
sure.
Yes, because moringa is high in iron. I forgot about that one. Thanks for the reminder. So try moringa, the sea moss, and the other recommendations. Yes. Any more questions? And if not, then all right, we had an exciting hour of herbal wisdom from Dr. U. Dr. U, is anything else you want to share with us?
Um, for anybody who's in the DMV area, I will be vending, offering some of my herbal tea blends and herbal supplements at Spiritual Essence Yoga, 5020 Brown Station Road. I believe Suite 130. I'm going off the top of my head. Um, in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. So if you're interested in that, you can feel free to reach out and contact me directly. My phone number 202-469-0264. Again, 202-469-0264. You can call or text me, or you can catch me on social media. I'm Dr. U, spelled as you see below my face, DOCTA space YEW on Facebook. On Instagram, I don't post on Twitter as much, but I'm on there as well. I'm on LinkedIn. Dr. You, everything all together. Just look me up there, and I should definitely come up. And feel free to reach out, if you're interested in that or anything else that I have going on in the near future. Definitely, you can follow me on those social media platforms.
Mm-hmm.
I say.
O'Shea.
Gullah
Thank
Geechee
you.
Herbal Gathering. Last thing, I got to plug that.
No, yeah.
Gullah Geechee Herbal Gathering coming up, which is going to be in Johns Island, South Carolina, the Charleston area of South Carolina, is coming up March 26th and 27th. One of the only herbal conferences that's centered towards Black and Indigenous people,
Mm-hmm.
I say.
traditions, and the Gullah Geechee culture.
I say.
All kind of like melded into one. It's going to be a full weekend this year for the first time. This is the third annual one. It's happening March 26th and 27th weekend. You can go to GullahGeecheeHerbalGathering.com. Tickets are on sale now, and you can find out more information there. Gullah Geechee, spelled GullahGeechee, herbalgathering.com. One more time, GullahGeechee, herbalgathering.com. Check
I'll
that
put
out
it
down
in the
there.
chat.
Doing a class on herbs and things that are good for diabetes and blood sugar support.
That's
I'll put it
good.
in the chat now. So it's the Gullah Geechee Herbal Gathering.
Yeah.
Yes, GullahGeecheeHerbalGathering.com.
Okay. And you want me to put your website in the chat room too?
Uh, yeah,
U360.com.
yeah. U360.com is my website. YEW360. The numbers 360.com.
Okay.
My website is not taking orders. You can view some of the things that I have on my website. You
Hmm.
can reach out to me directly if you'd like to order anything.
And what's your Instagram is at what?
Dr. U,
Doctor you.
DOCTAYEW.
Say it again.
Dr. U, which is DOCTAYEW.
Just Dr. You. Okay. So I put that in the chat for our listening audience. So his website, his Instagram handle, and also the upcoming event at the Gullah Geechee herbalgathering.com. Okay, there we go.
Yes,
I
yes.
All
say.
right. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you, King Ade.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. It was very
Thank you, brother.
informative,
King
and I'm
Ade as well.
so delighted with all the questions and comments and the positive feedback and love that we got from our listening audience tonight.
I say.
Beautiful. I
Beautiful.
say.
Okay. Yes. And so we're looking forward to having you again and also to have you join us sometime in the healing cycle. Step into the cycle and come see us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, send me the info. We'll make it work.
Yeah, we
I
will.
say.
We will. Yeah. Dr. You, he's always my somebody that's available to when you call on them or help, you need help in the community with any health crises or um anything dealing with health related issues, and he's always willing to answer your questions and stuff. So I appreciate you for that.
Thank you. I
Absolutely.
just do my
And
best.
I took Dr. U's class on herbs, and
Uh-huh.
it was one of the most informative classes I've ever been through. I've been a self study herbalist for years now, and
Mm-hmm.
I knew some things, but his class actually broke down working with herbs in a very
Mm-hmm.
concise and straightforward way that you could leave understanding. And you leave learning a lot of different herbs in their natural environment, because he does take you on herb walks. So
Mm-hmm.
if you get a chance to attend this class, I would definitely advise you do it.
Yes, I would too, and
Right?
use his product. But you know what? I just had an idea since we've been talking. Maybe we should collaborate, the three of us, and do some workshops together with our expertise, since we do similar things, and then how to incorporate the herbal healing, the energy healing, and the herbal walks and identifying plants together. We could probably do something in the community.
So, you know,
Oh
I'm all
shit.
for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And we do have one more question. I ended too quickly. Um, One love has asked, does anyone know what herbs are good for? I don't know how to pronounce that word. Sjogren's syndrome. Are you all familiar with that syndrome?
Spell it.
It's
S
spelled. Oh, go ahead, Ade.
SJOGREN S syndrome. I'm
Mhm.
not familiar with that.
Jorgen syndrome.
Can you share some more about that, one love? What is that syndrome?
I've heard of it, but it's been a long time since I've had to get information on that. So I don't quite remember off the top of my head what it is.
Well, let me Google it. We can see. I don't know if that's an autoimmune. Oh, they did. They say autoimmune. Thank you, one
Mhm.
love.
So long term autoimmune affects the body's moisture producing lacrimal and salivary glands and often
Mhm.
seriously affects other organ systems such as lung, kidneys, and nervous systems.
It says they may have pain in the joints or muscles.
Okay.
Yeah, dryness, pain, and fatigue.
All
Okay.
right.
It says it's a disorder of the immune system, identified by its two most common symptoms: dry eyes and a dry mouth. The condition often accompanies other immune system disorders such as rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. And Sjogren's, that's how you pronounce it, Sjogren's syndrome, the mucous membranes and moisture secreting glands of your eyes and mouth are usually affected first, resulting in decreased tears and saliva. The condition is much more common in women. Um, Although you can develop this syndrome at any age, most people are older than 40 at the time of diagnosis. And it says the treatment for this disorder focuses on relieving symptoms.
All right.
So,
Well, um, I don't have the practical experience of helping anybody with this personally, but
mhm,
what I can say, and I'll try to keep this as concise as possible due to the time. In
mhm,
holistic health and wellness, we function a lot on principles. You know, what is the body communicating, and how can we utilize what's happening with the body to formulate an approach that can be helpful, right? So if we're talking about autoimmune conditions, which is where it's theorized that the body's immune system cells are attacking, a particular part of the body.
mhm,
What causes that? Well, there are different contributing factors, but one of the things that's important to start with is to look at gut health. We have to
mhm,
look at how the digestive system is functioning. We
mhm,
have to look at the things that we're consuming on a regular basis. And we have to make sure that those things, to the best of our ability, that those things are compatible with our bodies naturally. And sometimes when they're not, when you're eating unhealthy foods and particularly unhealthy proteins that might come from an animal base, or maybe even something that you might have an allergy to on a plant based side that you're
mhm,
not aware of, which happens a lot. Um, those things you want to kind of look at, maybe eliminating some of those things from your diet. You might also want to look at herbs that are going to, again, kind of work on the cleansing side of things first. To mention a few herbs that generally tend to be helpful, in balancing immune system stuff, autoimmune type of stuff. We're looking at herbs like cat's claw. Cat's claw bark is a general, like, useful one. There's another herb called reishi mushroom, which is useful for that to a certain degree as well. These are things that kind of help to balance immune system activity. Other herbs that will help to support your gut health, and making sure that you're not utilizing things that's going to cause a lot of inflammation in the body, a lot of toxic buildup in the body is essential.
I say.
King Ade, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I believe Doctor You did a great job answering that, and I don't
Hmm.
know too much about children's to even add
Hmm.
anything to that. So I
Hmm.
would go with Doctor Yu's advice on that.
Yes. Yeah, I would too. And just taking things that boost the immunity. Since it's an autoimmune disorder, things that would boost the immunity is what I would recommend. But yeah, give it a try what doctor you recommended, and then let us know in the next Ask the Herbalist Hour how, or send us an email or something and let us know how your progress is coming with your health.
Yeah. I'll mention one more thing that just came to mind. Very
Please.
simple thing, aloe vera. Get you some
Yes.
vera,
Yes.
and that can be something that you can utilize, particularly like the gel
Hmm.
or the juice, where you can add to your water and incorporate that on a regular basis. That's going to help out in that digestive aspect of things. And aloe is also like a moisturizing plant too.
Hmm.
Whereas um, the other herbs I mentioned, they're good in terms of immune system support, but they're a little on the drier side. So sometimes when you're dealing with a condition where the principle is dry, you might want to incorporate more moistening herbs too. You know,
Hmm.
definitely aloe. Make sure your body's properly hydrated, and I'll leave it on that note.
Yeah, maybe sea moss as well.
Hmm. Okay, that's great. Yes, especially aloe. Aloe is known as a master cleanser.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm. Okay. Well, if there are no more questions tonight, we will definitely have to have Dr. Yu join us again. And perhaps, if you have more questions on health, you can ask them at that time or reach out to him on his different platforms. And he'll be more than happy to find answers for you and to assist you with your health and wellness needs.
I say.
So, yes, so thank you
Absolutely.
again for tonight. Thank you so much, both of you as well.
Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, and thank you for all of
Yes.
our listeners and our healing tribe that have asked questions on Instagram and in tonight's on the live. And our
I say.
next Ask the Herbalist Hour will be next Wednesday. We changed the time to Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Um, and so we hope that you will join us then. And also remember Monday night, 7 p.m. on the Plugged In Radio Network, we're on the Healing Cipher.
I say.
And at the bottom of the screen, you see my website, my Instagram, King Ade's Instagram, and the show. We have a Instagram now page for the Healing Cipher show. And if you'd like to make a donation, there is our Cash App. And stay in tune, everyone. Stay well, stay blessed, stay healthy, stay strong. We love all of you. Thank you for your support.
I say. I say. Thank you for coming out. Peace and love in abundance to all. We will
Yes.
see you next time.
All right. Peace and love. Thank you.